She was born and bred in Nashville, but she walks the beaches down in Florida sand. A mother and wife, a daughter, a sister, trying hard to do the best she can. She found her voice with a heavy heart, looking for purpose with trembling hands. And giving this all a new start, moving ahead, speaking for ones who came. She says, I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones unheard, 'cause she's got a caring heart that won't be turned. Her mama fought cancer while she was searching, stories that needed a gentle voice. We saw summer's name and felt the heart ache and tried to bring light where there was no choice. And when she heard us the best in her sadness rose, she prays for truth.
Dagger, bring me my cigarette. Hurry.
She followed wherever the story goes, seeking their dignity, a child's joy.
Her smile shines as bright as the stars at night. Her heart is as kind as can be. She has the patience of a saint, but if you push her, oh Lordy, a straight talker is Smiley. She's the salt of the earth. Make no mistake, she matters. Catch Smiley's story on a live stream. Oh boy, that girl can matter. Go Smiley. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Missing posters and stories of heartache and fear. She tells us all of the heartbreaking tears. She can sniff out the guilty from a mile away. If Smiley's on the case, then she's here to stay. She cares about these missing children. She cares deeply about them all. She speaks the truth with integrity. For the truth, she will seek it all. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Smiley's questions are like a heat-seeking missile. She's going straight for the bullseye. Don't ever believe you can't fool her. She's too wise, man. she won't comply. She values freedom like the 4th of July. She values respect even more. If you want to earn a place at Smiley's table, watch the clock, it takes time for sure. She's Smiley, alright, she's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright, she's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you break her trust, you're done for. Trust don't grow back like grass, so don't give Smiley a reason to doubt you, or that friendship will shatter like glass. She's a damn good woman, that much we know. She puts in the hours to bring them kids home. If your child is missing, you want Smiley on the case. She is always willing and she gives so much grace. She's a Smiley, alright, she's a Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright, she's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you're guilty, you better feel fear. Her smile shines as bright as the stars at night. Her heart is as kind as can be.
Well, hello, everybody. I had it both going at the same time, didn't I? So, hello. Good evening. I'm pulling a late one tonight. Hello, H. Davis. Hi, my beautiful H. Davis. You are number one tonight. Please hit the like buttons, like, share. We're going to talk about it all tonight. Hello, beautiful Millie. Thank you for being here. Hello, honey. Hello. How you doing, honey? Thank you for being here. Thank you to all of my mods. My mods are all in blue, and I love you so much. Thank you very much. So we're going to talk on this Thursday night, December 18th, 2025. Keep me in your prayers, please. We sure will. We will keep you in our prayers, always. Everybody, I do want to say before I get started that anybody that saw that fire behind my house tonight, I was a little bit worried that might have been a troll in my live stream earlier, but anyway, it was not. The news came out and the update is there was nobody in that home. Everybody is safe. So just prayers though. Okay. So I hope everybody's doing good. What y'all been up to? Anything good? Everybody in the bushes, come on in, say hello. Tell me where you're from. If you're new, if you're coming in, we appreciate you. Everybody's welcome. We're going to talk about some things lately that I have been hearing around here. And they are mostly sad. I got started on this and I thought, well, I'll have to have a part 2 to get to the other things. And we'll do that. But right now, we're going to just discuss a few of these things that I've been hearing and I've been catching up on. Hello, fabulous. Hello. You are loyal. You're right. I'm loyal, honey. Absolutely, I am. Absolutely. And if you're my friend, you're my friend to the end. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. You got it. Thank you for being here, honey. But the things that I've heard lately, I'm going to speak from the heart tonight. And we're just going to try to, get through all this. Yeah, part 2. There's going to have to be a part 2, honey. There's going to have to be a part 2. I couldn't even get to the real YouTube streets. I didn't realize there was so much going on. But so these are all the things that I hear lately and that I've been reading up on and studying up on and listening to, which is a lot more, but a lot of it's sad. And anyway, I've been trying to keep up since my surgery, and in a strange way, I've been kind of lucky, I think. I've had more time to sit, listen, think, research, and really take things in. Maybe it's because I'm finally starting to feel a little better. I don't know. But I'll be honest, I'm still slow. I'm still slow about getting this stuff out, but that's okay, right? We might be a little bit behind on updates. Some of this stuff I already might have had a live on, but there's, nothing like that has ever stopped me before, okay? And I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you one way or another. But today, tonight, wherever you're at, I wanted to touch on a lot of things, and I hope you'll join me. I hope you brought your blankets, your sweet tea, coffee, whatever, and more grief than we usually do. I don't know if it's something we just notice. I don't know if it's this time of year. I don't know. But it's okay to say it out loud. So let's just talk about it. Let me ask you, I'm going to ask all of you, does it feel like there's been more loss lately? More out there in the news? Or is this just fluke? Is it just, what is it? What do you think? Do you think we're just exposed to it more? Because I don't know. This week has been crazy. You think it's more, Millie? Yeah, I do too. I think it's probably a combination of both, honestly. I do. It feels like it's just constant in this last week. But stories, they come fast. Updates come faster. And before we've even processed one loss, we're hit with another one. And I think that does something to us. I think it does something to us all. It can sometimes numb us. It can sometimes overload us, and it can leave us feeling helpless. I don't think it means we care less if we don't talk about stuff or stuff like that. I just think it means we're carrying more than it's just so much on our shoulders. I think it's more than we ever should be carrying in the first place, really. Whether it's a headline, whether it's a post, a comment, or in a live stream like this, there's families somewhere reading, listening, and trying to understand this just as we are. They're trying to survive. They're trying to survive the worst moments of their lives. We're trying to survive, the worst moments of our lives, of all of this. That's something I don't ever want to forget, though, that these families are struggling, right? And also, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the one on my screen. I want to talk about that first, okay? Because I think everybody knew in some way, shape, or form Anthony Gary. And that was a shocker to me, and I know it was a shocker to many. I had some news posts pulled up, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to put that out. But it wasn't nothing bad or anything. I got what I got. And I'm telling you, everybody was shocked on this one. Many people know him as Luke Spencer from General Hospital. he was a character that was not just true to his role, in acting and on camera, to Luke Spencer. It was a real cultural moment, when he played Luke Spencer was bold. He was complicated. That's an understatement. He was flawed in so many ways, but he was unforgettable. I think he was a brilliant man, in my opinion. And Anthony Gary brought himself to General Hospital and to life just in a way that changed, daytime TV, soaps, and everything forever. I don't think he'll ever be forgotten. He was a huge name, full of life on the screen, and by all accounts, deeply thoughtful and private, though, off screen. I mean, I have heard that over the years, not just now, over the years. For decades, he was part of people's daily routines. He grew up with audiences just like myself. He made people laugh. He made people cry. He made people argue. We screamed at the TV. And to feel all that kind of connection, it doesn't just fade because time passes or because somebody passes away. It don't. When someone like that leaves this world, it hits really hard. It hits differently. It feels kind of personal, even if we never met them, because there were so many times I know he was on my screen. So many times he was in my books I read, in my magazines. He was just woven into so many lives for so many years. Now, I want to know, put a 1 in here. Hey, Rogue. Hello, darling. Who remembers watching Luke Spencer on General Hospital? If you remember, put a 1. Anybody? Maybe y'all didn't watch General Hospital, but he was in so many other things. I'm telling y'all, he was brilliant. Michelle says she did. Michelle says she did. Rogue was too young. Yeah, you were young. I remember watching him as Luke Spencer on General Hospital. I mean, I basically, of course, he was older than me, but I basically grew up. That's watching General Hospital. I still watch it to this day, and if I can't watch it, I record it. That's how loyal I am to this one, okay, to this show. And I never swayed away from that. I love that show. But he was a huge part of it, and they certainly have lost on that, on General Hospital. They have lost in the last, I don't know, over the last several years, 4, maybe 5 years. They have lost many friends and colleagues over the last several years in real life. But I bet you anything, Anthony Gary was a huge blow to them all over there on the set of General Hospital. To honor the work he gave, the legacy he leaves behind, the people who loved him, well, I mean, way beyond the screen. How about Luke and Laura on General Hospital? How about that? Hold on. I'll put it up here, or I'll put it up here. Where'd it go? Who remembers Who remembers that? Who remembers Luke and Laura? Who remembers that moment on TV? Let me tell you something. Millions of people watched. Millions of people watched that did not even watch that story. That was a fairy tale wedding. That was a for real every little girl's dream. Luke and Laura. Luke and Laura. It's a moment nobody will ever forget. It don't matter if you watched the show or you didn't. Luke Spencer and Laura Weber. They weren't just a storyline. They was a phenomenon, right? When Anthony Gary and Jeannie Francis, Luke and Laura came together on General Hospital daytime TV, changed. It changed somehow. Their story was messy. Honey, it was messy. You think your older sister watched it? Yep, I watched it. I counted back one time. I forget how old I was. I was a little girl. Little, honey. But it was, their story was messy. It was dramatic. It was intense. It was emotional. It was kind of like a slow burn, right? It was a slow burn soap romance that had people planning their day around the show. I mean, you didn't catch it later. Back at that time, you watched it right then. There wasn't no taping it. There wasn't no DVRing it. There wasn't none of that stuff. You watched it then. It come on, you watched it. I remember on November 16th, 1981, Luke and Laura's wedding aired. And it really was historic. They say that, I mean, I hate to say this, but I would put it up there with Princess Di's wedding. I mean, it was historic, y'all. And that's crazy for a soap. Over 30 million people tuned in just to see that wedding. The streets were quieter. People was at work. Their offices took breaks. Schools talked about it the next day. It wasn't just a soap or an episode of a soap. It felt like a national event. Laura in that gown. Luke standing there, finally still. Drew, thank you so much. Welcome. The music, the drama, and it had big payoffs many years after that. Many years. And people are still talking about it today, and not just because Anthony died. They are talking about it today. They were talking about it before he died. I don't think that wedding will ever go away. I put, let's see, remember. Hold on, did I put that up here? I don't know if I did or not. Let me look at something. Here we go. Okay. So, hold on just 1 second here. Let me think of something. Let me think of this. Let me think. Okay. I want to play this. Hold on. I want to play this. Abe Froman, Abe_FROMAN. Please give them credit. Please give them credit. I'm not going to play the sound or the music or any of that. Let me do something else here. Hold on. I'll do it here. Hold on. Let me edit this. Hold on just a minute. Hold on. Underscore, where were we at? save that. This is just, oh, thank you, Tamu, for being a member for 22 months. Jesus, 22 months. Woo! Thank you, honey. Thank you. I loved Luke and Laura as well. I did too. Everybody want to catch that. Yes, look at that hair. That's back in the 80s, Rogue. See, you wasn't in that time zone, honey. I was all in that time zone. All in that time zone. So let's see. Where are we at here? Yeah, I better stop it for a minute. I better stop that. Let me see. I was all in that time zone. I don't want to play there. Oh, Lord, look at there. Old times, old things, old memories. Let me just leave it there 1 second. Yeah, old times, old memories. You remember that, Bama Cat? Hello, hello. Hello, there's your copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use and purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, and scholarship and research, and honoring those who have passed on. So we're going to be doing that. Wasn't that his sister, or wasn't that his aunt? She run the diner. She was like his mother. So they were all there at the wedding. They were all there at the wedding, and it was a beautiful fairy tale. Beautiful. Let's see. There you go. See, look how pretty Laura is too. And you can tell, boy, this one was back in the 80s because and there's his sister Bobby. You can tell, you know, it was so, and she's passed on too now. A beautiful wedding. Look, Jeannie Francis has always been pretty. Okay. We're going to stop it again right there for a minute. I'll leave it right there. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, that's some old time. You can tell in the reel it's shaking, right? So for many viewers, it wasn't just a soap. And it was the wedding on TV of the century that felt bigger than the show itself. It felt bigger than the entire show. And unless you was there and you watched it, you would never understand it. It just kind of felt like hope, you know, like redemption, like love finally winning after all the storms, that kind of thing. Luke Spencer was never perfect. He had some bad sides to him as well. And that was the point. He was flawed. He was sarcastic. He was wounded. But he was fiercely loyal. Hey, Daly. I hope you're doing good. You love that? Yeah. I was so sad to hear about his passing. So sad. Drew K. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Please hit the like button. There you go. Thank you, member, for 16 months. Woo! Thank you, Drew. Thank you, honey. Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, he was a deeply flawed person. But there was not a part he could not play. Anthony stayed, you know, loyal to his fans as well. He did. But Anthony Gary played Luke for years, and you either loved him or you hated him, but most people loved him, you know. And, you know, sometimes you yelled at him on there, you worried about him, you somehow, you know, rooted for him anyway. It was just magic, though, with him and Laura. Magic is the only word I can think of. So when we talk about Anthony Gary, we're not just talking about an actor. We're talking about memories. We're talking about routines. We're talking about generations watching together. Your grandmother, my grandma, their mother, their daughter, their sister. I mean, so many people watched, right? But he was much bigger than many people realize. And Luke Spencer made him legendary. But he did a lot more. He did a lot more. He did more before and even during and after his time as Luke Spencer on General Hospital. Anthony played several characters on General Hospital. Listen, I don't think nobody could pull this off, but he did. He played Luke Spencer from 1978 to 2015. That was a role that was him. That was him. But he also played Bill Eckert, which was Luke's cousin. He pulled that off on General Hospital. He played Mike Weber, which was Laura's adoptive father. And yeah, that twist shocked everybody, all the viewers. He had talent. That alone shows how trusted he was, though. The show believed in him. The audience believed in him. The writers believed in him. It didn't matter who he played. He could pull it off. He also worked in film, especially around the late 70s and the early 80s. He played in The Initiation of Sarah. That was a cult classic horror movie, y'all. He played in Return of the Count. That was a horror movie. UHF in 1989. That was a kind of offbeat comedy that he played in that one. He appeared there. He could do anything. Yeah, he absolutely could, Daly. He played in so many things. He could do anything. Some of these roles showed a darker, more experimental side of him. Very different from Luke Spencer. Unless you saw those films, you wouldn't have thought he would be in a horror movie. I wouldn't have thought that. But see, he appreciated life. He appreciated in many, he was appreciated in many movies and films and on set. He was appreciated as a person. He also played in All of My Children. He also played parts in Murder, She Wrote. If you didn't know, he played on The Love Boat. He was in Hotel. And guess what? Some of you ain't going to remember this, but some of you will. I do, unfortunately. Fantasy Island. I don't know if any of y'all here remembers Fantasy Island or not, but he even played in that. He had so many roles. I know, right? I know. Oh my God. Just wait. There was another one that I'm going to do. I hope I get to it tomorrow, but I don't know. But if I do, that one really makes me feel old. I remember I was only 5 months older than this person. And I'm like, oh, Lord, honey. But anyway, yeah, we don't want to think about getting old. It happens, though. It's life. But he had real talent. He could fit in anywhere. People loved him, period. People loved him, period. He was one of those actors where when he showed up, you noticed. You just took note. He walked in, you knew he was there. You knew it. He loved theater, and at one point, he stepped away from Hollywood. That was by his choice. A lot of people didn't know what happened to him. I followed him when he moved to Amsterdam. He eventually moved to Europe, and he was one to value his privacy. He liked art. He liked living life quietly. He liked and enjoyed being away from the fame. And I personally am glad that he got that peace, that he found true peace. At least it seemed like that. And I'm glad when he did that. Although we were all sad to see him go from General Hospital and see him go from all the other shows that he played in or maybe had a role in. I'm glad, especially now looking back, I'm so glad he got that peace. Anthony, he wasn't just famous, he was well respected. And you can take that to the bank. He challenged storylines. He walked away if it didn't feel right. He lived life on his terms. And he did it his way. He did it his way. Anthony Gary died on December 14th, 2025. He was 78 years old. Didn't look it. Never looked it. Never looked that old, I don't think. He was 78. I want to say he looked fabulous because he never looked his age. He always looked younger. He always looked so bright. He always took good care of himself. And I guess it didn't hurt having good genes either. Yes, Millie, you are. I'm going to play a little bit more of it. They're fixing to, oh, honey, if you didn't watch it, if you didn't see it, you need to watch it. I'll let it run a little bit. Don't let me forget to turn it off in a minute. I'll just let it run a little bit. Put the credit down to, what did I do with the credit? Hold on a minute. What did I do with it? Shoot, what did I do with it? I know I just put it up there. I did save it, didn't I? Or did I delete the whole thing? Oh, here it is. There you go. So, full credit to them. Full credit to them. But he died. Luke died at 78. And I want to say he never looked like that because he didn't. He took real good care of himself. I've seen him on interview, short, very brief because he tried to stay away from it. I've seen him on very short interviews when, like Good Morning America, different, things like that. briefly. He liked his privacy. He enjoyed it, and I'm glad he got it. He passed away in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. Now, he had been living with his husband, and I don't know if I can say this right, Claudio Gamma, since his retirement. Death came after complications that he had during a surgical procedure. He had undergone this surgical procedure 3 days earlier. Okay. I don't know all the details. I can't find exactly what it said. It doesn't matter. Okay. The specific details are not available or have not been publicly disclosed out of respect for his family and privacy, but all reports describe his passing as a result of a post-operative complication and meaning issues that developed after a planned surgery he had. Let me pause this a minute again. Let me pause it. Whoop. Yeah, you should see when they go off in the sunset, and almost everybody on there is dead. Probably Janie Francis, I've seen her, she's not, but almost everybody that you see has passed away. Gail, her husband, all them gone. Aubrey, all of them, okay, all of them. Lots of people have passed on. Hello, welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you very much. But Claudio, and I hope I'm saying that first name right, Gamma, confirmed the news and described the loss as a very big shock to the family and close friends. And Anthony, I always call him Tony, and so did his colleagues, but Anthony Gary had retired from General Hospital in 2015, and he chose a quieter life in Amsterdam. By the way, I heard that's a beautiful place. I want to go there someday. I do. I want to go there someday. Anyway, that's where he and Claudio had built a life together for many, many years. And they said he was a very gentle and respectful person. So I just want to say, before I move on to the next thing, that I want to pause and give honor to Anthony Gary. To so many of us, he will always be Luke Spencer, bold, complicated, flawed, unforgettable. But Anthony Gary was so much more than just a role. He was an artist. He poured his heart and his soul into his work. He was not afraid to take risk. He lived life to the fullest. And he changed daytime television. He changed forever. He brought life to characters that felt real. We knew the difference. But he brought life to all of the characters that we grew up with, we argued with, we rooted for, we carried with us long after he went off screen, after he rode the dark horse off, right? And don't forget, after Luke and Laura, the ones know, if you know, you know, he was married to Tracy Quartermain. Ha ha ha! He sure did. But anyway, and by the way, for those who do know, and if you haven't heard, I've Tracy, or her name is what is her name? I don't know her real name right offhand. I can't think of it right this second. She has cancer in real life, and I think she's going to be doing less time on General Hospital. She's not doing real well. She did make an appearance a few days ago, but yeah, I think she might be leaving her role as well. So that sucks, man. And it sucks to see everybody around you that you grew up with or watching, even in real life. Everybody I know's pretty much dead and gone. I mean, there's only a handful of people, and that's sad. It's sad. But he carried on in our hearts for he still is. I don't even want to say until. He still is. He still does. And Luke and Laura wasn't just another storyline. They were a moment in time that connected millions of people from all over the world that watched. They all felt togetherness watching, gave people stuff to talk about. But he passed away peacefully, they say, and I'm glad about that too, at 78 years old. And for those just coming in, it was complications after a medical procedure where he was living in Amsterdam. He had a planned surgery, and 3 days after, he passes away. Surgery's risky, y'all, and it can happen to anybody. But we honor his legacy tonight. We honor the memories. Lord, thank you for the memories. We honor the joy, the drama, the laughter, the tears, all the things that he gave us. I know I do. I send love to his family, to his loved ones, to his fellow cast members, and to every fan that felt like Luke Spencer was part of their own story. Mr. Gary, you are remembered, you are appreciated, and you will never be forgotten. Rest in peace, Anthony Gary. So I wanted to talk about him. Get this down. And yeah, if you haven't watched that, please do. Please do. I just noticed something. I don't guess that was Kenda. Anyway, never mind. Let me just go on. Next, I did have a live on this, but I want to talk about this again. I want to talk about this just a little bit more. Rob Rayner and his wife, Michelle. I want to talk about that. I believe him and Anthony died at the same day. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was. So we all know it's all over the news. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Let me change this up here too. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm not good at this. I can't just do magic like everybody else. But I want to put this. Oh, that's not going to let me. Hold on. I don't think that's going to let me. Where did I go? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Hold on. Let's put it up here. Let's put this up here. Let's put it up here. Chair. That's the son in court. I don't know who drew that or who sketched it. Somebody in court. That's Nick up there in a suicide suit in court. As we found, unalived his parents. That is shocking. Daly's like, you're fine. I don't know, Daly. I'm still working on it, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's just a little bit slow with these buttons sometimes, right? Everybody else just does it like it's magic. I swear they got a secret way of putting all this up, right? Oh gosh, I don't know. But then, that at the same time we had another blow come out of the news, and that was Rob and his wife. They were unalived in their in their Brentwood, California home. And nobody expected that. I did have an entire live on it. You're welcome to go back and watch it if you want. But today or tonight, we're just going to touch on what's, new or what we know. We're going to briefly touch on these things. But if you remember Rob, he played Meathead in All in the Family. Again, another oldie but goodie. And also, yes, I'm that old. And he was well loved. He went on to be a producer, and he did other things with his life. And he and his wife had 5 children. And by all accounts, they lived a private life, even the children. They didn't want to be in this Hollywood spotlight. Okay. We went over all that the other day, but they were very private, and they tried to stay out of the limelight as much as possible. Rob and his wife, Michelle, they stayed very focused on what mattered, their family. They stayed very family oriented. But they went on the other night the night before this happened, to a Christmas party. And they got to see a lot of their old friends and a lot of colleagues, but something happened there. And we'll get to that. But after that, they went home, and they were found dead. The party was on the 13th, and they were found dead on December 14th, 2025, just a few days ago, at their home in Brentwood in Los Angeles, California. And they were 78 and 70 years old, and they were found by their daughter. That's shocking, and it's heartbreaking. Yeah, he was a great producer. He was an absolute great producer. And produced many shows, many things. He had a lot of talent. I had a lot of respect for him. I really do. And they say that he was a very well respected man. And I like what he grew into, and I like that he made his living. He did his thing, but he tried to stay out of the Hollywood limelight and keep his self-focused, Daily is today. When is your birthday? You just passed? I didn't know that. Oh my God. You just had a birthday. Let me sing. Hold on, everybody. I got to sing to Daly. Daly, I know, wants to hear my voice, honey. We won't try no Marilyn Monroe, because Annabella and Justin both said, no, Smiley, don't ever do that again. So we're going to just do this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy belated birthday, dear Daily Tab. Happy birthday to you, and we all love you. Join this zoo. Joins December 7th. Wow, same. Oh, wow. I forgot, Daily. No, honey. Oh my God, I've had so much on my mind. I didn't know it was on the 7th. Oh my word. See, I've just had so much going on. I apologize. Well, I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope your birthday was so good, and I hope you have many, many, many more. I know you're having your struggles, but I want you to know I love you. We all love you here. And I'm so sorry I missed it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong. But that was the saddest part to me, is their daughter, besides them being unalived, was their daughter found them. I feel for her. That's something she should have never, ever, ever had to see. They say that scene was gruesome. You shouldn't never have to find your parents unalived, but you certainly shouldn't have to find them unalive in a gruesome scene, right? We all hope everybody, we all have to go. We just don't know when our number's up, when our time's up, but we all have to go. And the best we could ever hope for is just to go peacefully in our sleep, But no child, adult or not adult, should ever have to find their parents dead, especially like that. They say the crime scene was awful. Billy Crystal and his wife came to the scene. They saw the bodies, and they were one of the first ones that did. I think the daughter called them, and I think somebody else there, it might have been the house or the person that gave them the massage or something, because she couldn't get them. She had to call the daughter, and the daughter had to go in. So I think one of them called the police, and one of them called their very close friend, Billy Crystal, and his wife. And, they too will never forget. So my heart definitely goes out to them as well. Nobody should have to see that. Their daughter, Romy Reiner, discovered their bodies and called emergency services late that afternoon. That was on December 13th, the night before their deaths. Rob, Michelle, and their son Nick, who's now arrested above on my screen, attended a holiday Christmas party, and Conan O'Brien hosted that party over in Los Angeles. At the party, Rob and Nick reportedly got into a very loud argument, and Nick was acting in very strange ways. He made several guests, they say, feel very uncomfortable and uneasy. I know Rob and Michelle was embarrassed. We talked about that on my last live. They had to be. They love their children, but I think they protected Nick a little bit too much, to be honest. But because they were so private, it had to be embarrassing for them both. So they left the party after the argument, and, it happens. They returned home, from my understanding. Later that day, on December 14th, they were found stabbed to death in their home. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner determined the cause of death for both Rob and Michelle to be multiple sharp force injuries, meaning injuries from a sharp object such as a knife. Their deaths have been ruled homicide, and as we know, again, their son Nick was arrested. Then, to everyone's surprise, that's exactly what happened. Their son Nick, he's 32 years old, and he was arrested the same day they were found, not very long after, and not very far from there. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but I did hear that the daughter told them, you do need to look at Nick. So I don't know what was going on there behind closed doors or whatever. We know that Nick had drug problems and stuff like that, but it was told, that's what she said. They found him, the son, about 15 miles from there. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, and he's now being held without bond. And prosecutors are considering whether to seek the death penalty or life in prison without parole, given the charges. In court, Nick briefly appeared wearing this blue suicide prevention vest, and his formal arraignment will be January 7th, which is not long from now. Nick checked into a hotel after that happened in Santa Monica after he allegedly killed his parents. And sources told ABC News that Nick checked into the Pierside Hotel on Colorado Avenue in Santa Monica. He either checked in late Saturday night or early Sunday morning after he allegedly killed his parents. Law enforcement members have reportedly already, as we know, searched the room. They got all the evidence. I believe they found blood there, and so on and so on. I know I was watching Nancy Grace, and after that, he had cleaned up, evidently, himself, because evidently he had to be a mess, but he cleaned up himself, and it showed him in a store somewhere. So he wasn't thinking about too much. I don't know what was going on in his mind. I can't say, but he went on out to the store. I did see that video. According to the medical examiner's report, again, Rob and Michelle died from multiple sharp force injuries. They determined all the cuts, the stab wounds, and all that was from a knife. And meantime, Nick made a brief appearance in court on Wednesday. Okay. So he's 32 years old. He sat behind a glass. He appeared quiet and calm, and he was wearing the blue suicide prevention suit, smock, if you will. He had handcuffs. The judge in the case did not allow him to be recorded. His attorney's name is Alan Jackson. No, it's not the country singer, but is attorney Alan Jackson, who helped defend Karen Reed in Massachusetts, waived the right to a speedy trial, to a speedy arraignment. The arraignment, again, is set for January 7th, and his attorney in court said, I quote, "There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case." That's what Jackson told the reporters. And outside the courthouse, he told them that after the hearing. So these need to be thoroughly investigated, he said, but very carefully dealt with. I don't know what that means. I don't know how they're going to try to pull this off. I really don't know. Nick was charged Tuesday officially with 2 counts of first-degree murder with the special circumstance of multiple murders for allegedly stabbing his parents to death in Los Angeles County District. The district attorney, the DA, Nathan Hodgman, said the charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. And that's what the DA is trying to determine right now, what they're going to go for, life or death. Authorities and sources have noted that Nick had a long history, it's out there, of addiction and mental health struggles, including periods of homelessness. Because, see, his parents, they helped him when they could, but they tried to give him tough love. But see, he destroyed the guest house numerous times. He destroyed things. He would get on and off of drugs, and they would kick him out. And I don't blame them. You can't blame them. Maybe they were not tough enough on him, right? But that's why he was homeless. I don't think he was as homeless as what you and I would call homeless, though. Let's just get that straight. For example, my understanding is they kicked him out of the house that night or after the party or whatever, told him he had to straighten up. But he had a hotel room, didn't he? From my understanding, he's paying for his high-powered Alan Jackson attorney with their money. So their homelessness and our homelessness is not the same thing. It's just not the same. But he had struggle with homelessness. He had repeated rehab attempts. The family, they tried to help him. They tried to help him for years. They stood by him for years. And Rob and Nick even had worked together on a film about an addiction and a family being Charlie. It was highlighting the struggles of their own lives. So if you haven't seen that, watch it. It was about them and their own lives. It's very tragic. It's very heartbreaking. And my heart goes out to the entire family. Not only is this horrific, but in the next months, maybe even years to come with the trial, who knows? It's going to be very devastating for them all. Let's watch. I have a little new clip on that, I believe. Let's watch that real quick.
Dressed in a suicide prevention smock and shackles around his wrists, Nick Reiner made his first court appearance today since he was charged with the murders of his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner. The Hollywood couple found stabbed to death inside their Brentwood home over the weekend. Tonight, we have new insight into what happened hours before and after the murder of the Reiners. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes live in downtown LA with those new details. Rob?
Yeah, Nick Reiner and his legal team are in no hurry to enter a plea. His attorney today is calling this a very, very complex case and saying he needs more time to figure out how they're going to approach Nick's defense. Nick Reiner may have made his first appearance in court today, but he didn't appear on any cameras. The judge in the case not allowing him to be recorded. The 32-year-old wearing a blue suicide prevention smock and handcuffs in the courtroom. Reiner's arraignment postponed till next month.
I would like to ask for a continuance of the arraignment, but I want to get it clear at this juncture. It's too early.
The whole process this morning taking less than 2 minutes. Afterward, Reiner's defense attorney, Alan Jackson, explaining the delay.
There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case. These need to be thoroughly, but very carefully dealt with.
New today, LAPD's assistant chief telling the police commission more details on where Rob and Michelle Reiner were killed.
Both victims were found in the master bedroom of the area of the home.
Their son Nick has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances, making him eligible for the death penalty. Investigators are now working to put together a timeline of his actions over the weekend. He's said to have attended a Christmas party at Conan O'Brien's house with his parents Saturday night. His behavior there said to be erratic. Sources tell ABC News Nick checked into the Pierside Hotel in Santa Monica either late Saturday night or early Sunday morning after allegedly killing his parents. And that Sunday afternoon, a massage therapist called the Reiner's daughter, Romy, when no one answered the door at Rob and Michelle's home. Romy then came to the house and found the murder scene. About 6 hours later.
That right there, the daughter finding them, man, I just cannot get over that. I can't. I feel so bad for her. She is, more than devastated. Let me turn this back on. It's still playing. Uh-oh.
Feelings on the loss of their parents and thanking family and friends for the outpouring of condolences. Romy, when no one answered the door at Rob and Michelle's home. Romy then came to the house and found the murder scene. About 6 hours later, this surveillance video captured Nick walking into a convenience store and buying a drink.
See?
Moments after that, LAPD gang and narcotics officers arrested him in the Exposition Park area. Meantime, Jake and Romy Reiner, the couple's two other children, releasing a statement today, sharing their feelings on the loss of their parents and thanking family and friends for the outpouring of condolences. Nick is now being held without bail. Again, no plea today from Nick Reiner. We're going to have to wait until his next court appearance on January 7th. Reporting live in downtown LA, Rob Hayes, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
I mean, just so horrible, so sad. Now, look, if he was on drugs, and I'm sure he was, or whatever at the time, and it's going to take him 2 weeks or so more, maybe, to get it out of his system. And maybe longer than that. And if he had a mental problem, whatever was going on, there's no excuse for what happened. I'm just saying, whatever was going on, it's going to take several weeks, maybe a month, 2, 3, to get all this out of his system. And, I can't even imagine. I just can't. But Meg Ryan, so many people loved him. Meg Ryan, who starred in When Harry Met Sally, Rob, he produced that, and she shared a very emotional tribute, and she said that the couple's story will not end with this impossible tragedy. Jane Fonda reacted. She recalled seeing Rob and Michelle just the night before the tragedy, describing them as healthy and happy, with all the friends and collaborators and many public figures was there. I mean, they have all expressed deep sorrow and a very deep loss. And of course, Billy Crystal, Reba McEntire. I seen Dolly Parton. I mean, so many had so much good things to say, and they were all in total shock. Before I move on, I just want to take a moment to say this. Because lately, we're seeing stories move very fast, very horrible stories, faster than truth can come out. But tragedy being spoken, about before facts and stuff like that are even settled, for names we recognize, families we know from screens, stories that feel close, even when they aren't our stories or our families. But there have been a lot of talk online involving Rob and his wife, Michelle. But what matters most to me is this. Real people, real families are being affected every single day in real violence. Real losses, real grief. It don't matter if it's somebody famous or somebody unknown. Every life matters. Every family deserves more care. Every family deserves more truth or the truth. They deserve dignity. They don't deserve speculation. And I choose compassion. I choose the compassion over the chaos when it comes to this. Truth over rumor. And humanity over headlines. That's what I choose. I hold space for all of these families, all of them who are hurting, especially during this holiday season. You know, losses feel heavier. Silence feels louder. And my heart truly goes out to everyone. We had also the guy that played on Buck Rogers, what was his name? Gil. He was 82 years old. He just passed. He passed away on December 16th. He was battling cancer. My heart goes out to that family. May he rest in peace. This morning I woke up. Let me change this. Because this morning I woke up and boom, we had another one. This morning I woke up and a well-known ESPN newscaster and her husband was found dead. They were found dead in Alabama, right? Found dead in Alabama. And Christina Chambers. She was well-known, well-loved. She was a sports reporter and a former anchor at WBRC Fox 6 in Birmingham, Alabama. Her and her husband, Johnny Rhymes, were found dead in their home in Hoover, Alabama. My heart goes out to both of their families. They also have a 3-year-old little boy. And I really send my whole heart out to him. My understanding is they took their own lives. And that's sad. It's very upsetting. It's sad to even think you have a life or a problem so bad that it cannot be fixed. I feel like anything can be fixed. Anything will pass, no matter how bad it is. Authorities believe it appears that it was at their own hands. Both were discovered with fatal gunshot wounds, and their 3-year-old child, their little boy, was found unharmed, thank God, inside the home. Their colleagues and their former co-workers, they've all been talking about this all over the news. They was mourning her and her husband, and they were remembering how she was, how warm she was. They said she was very professional, and she had a positive impact on others. So what went wrong? I don't know. It sure shocked her local community, and it shocked media, her co-workers, and peers. Good night, Daily. Love you, honey. I just thank God that the little boy is physically okay. I hate it when there's somebody left and you go, I'm glad they're okay. That little boy will never be okay. I don't care if he is 3. Some believe, well, he's 3, he won't remember this. Maybe, maybe not. This was traumatic, and I'm sure it's going to always be up there somewhere. And he lost his parents. I'm glad he's okay, but I'm glad he was physically okay, because mentally, I don't think he will be okay. And he's not okay now. He don't have his mom and his dad. And I want to say this with my entire heart. People, there's no problem so big that it cannot be faced. Please remember that. There's no moment so dark that it won't eventually pass. You can't turn back time. Time don't stop. Time keeps ticking. No matter how long it takes, y'all, tick tock. Okay? It will pass. It will pass. Sometimes it don't feel like it, but it will. And it can. And it does. If you're struggling today, please hear me. You're not alone. You're not weak. You're not out of options. There's help available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's people who are trained to listen to you and people who are trained to care. You can call that crisis line. You can text that line. It's a simple number to remember, 988. You can call other numbers, but that's simple to remember, 988. Anytime for confidential support. If you're outside of the U.S., local crisis lines are available. In most countries, they are. Just reach out. Or reach out to emergency services. Whoever you trust, if you have a friend. Anybody. Hell, at that point, call a wrong number and talk to them. Seriously. There's nothing you can't face. Your life is precious. Listen, no Christmas will be the same without these people. We have, maybe 7 days until Christmas now? For many, there'll be empty chairs at the table. There'll be fewer gifts, fewer laughs, fewer presents under the tree and toys for the kids. I want you to know this. You're not alone, and I'm sorry for your hurt. I truly wish I would give anything if I could reach through this screen and I could take away that pain, any pain that you have. If I could, I would. But I can sit with you. I can listen to you. I'll lend that ear. I can acknowledge it. I can bring it here on my platform. I can try my best to do some good. But I can remind you that your grief matters. You matter. And I want all of you to know, let's not forget. Be kind, especially right now. Let's pray for one another. We don't always know what battle people are fighting. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And we don't know what someone is carrying quietly in their heart or on their shoulders. And it's important to remember this. Everybody's grief looks different. Everybody's. Every battle's different. There's no right way. There's no wrong way to mourn. There's no timeline for healing. If you're hurting around these holiday seasons, if you're hurting because it's not a holiday, I see you. If you're missing someone, honor them. If you're just trying to get through the day, that's enough. You are all loved. You're not forgotten, and you are all welcome here. This live is unfortunate, and it's unfortunate for a lot of people. But I wanted to talk about them. I wanted to honor them. It's unfortunate that this morning also, and we're going to talk about this, but this morning also, that, hold on, here we go, that a plane went down. Greg Baffle, him and his family was in a plane crash, and they did not make it. And this is a blow to NASCAR, the NASCAR world, their families, as well as the people around the entire world. People loved them all. This was tragic news today. He had 2 children. He had a daughter, Emma Elizabeth, that was with his first wife, Nicole. He had a son, Ryder, that was with his second wife, Christina. Tragically, what they're reporting, and my understanding is, his wife, Christina, and both of their children were in that private jet crash in North Carolina today, December 18th, 2025. They say that was confirmed by family members as well. It was a C-550 business jet registered to the company tied to retired NASCAR driver Craig Baffle. It crashed in Statesville Regional Airport, North Carolina today. It's been live breaking news everywhere. The aircraft crashed while attempting to land and return to the runway about 10:15 a.m. And they say multiple fatalities was confirmed by local officials. They say at least 6 people was in the crash. I don't know who the other 2 were. I apologize for that. The FAA and NTSB, they're investigating this. Of course, they're investigating the cause of this crash. Some sources, including a close family and friend, and from social media posts, they indicate that Greg, his wife, and their 2 children were aboard, and they were also unalived in this plane crash. Boy, my hearts go out to all this family, to everybody. Whew. Greg was a long time, as we know, NASCAR driver. He was born December 23rd. Wow, he's got a birthday coming up 2 days before Christmas. Then Christmas, then New Year's. Shame on me and medical when I hear that Southern drawl, I think. But anyway, he has 2 children, Emma Elizabeth, born 2011, with first wife Nicole, and Ryder with his second wife. He was born in 2020. It's sad. So the plane crash in Statesville, North Carolina involved a private business jet, and they know it was his. They know that they were on there, and it remains a developing story, right? And, you know, we'll be watching for that. So, yeah, very sad. So let's switch up for a minute in the music world. Got some good news in the music world. Country music star Jelly Roll. Amen. Jelly Roll, way to go. He got pardoned today. Governor Bill Lee pardoned him over in Davidson County. And I'm so happy. I'm just so happy that happened. So we can probably leave that on a good note. It focused directly on his incarceration, but his rehabilitation and his growth, right? I know Jason DeFord. I know his mother and his sister. My sons know Jelly. His story truly is remarkable. And anyone, if anyone has learned anything by their mistakes, it was him. And I want to acknowledge him, and I want to tell him what I always tell him every time I see him or write any comments to him or talk anything. I want to say the same thing. I'm proud of you, and I want to thank you for all you do out in public. That's public, and even in private, for all you do. Your accomplishments, I am so proud of you. Keep it up. Keep moving. And anyone who wants to see the full story, it came out in the Tennessean today. Came out in the Nashville, Tennessean today. So let's see if I can move that off the screen. I just want to put this other, back up. But yeah, anybody, there we go. Let's put it back to where we started. But yeah, anybody who writes to him or go to his music pages, or, you know, if you can get to him privately, let him know how proud you are. He has come a long way in many things that he's done. In many things. Oh, yeah, you haven't heard me talk about that before, Rogue? Yeah, Jason DeFord, that's his real name. Absolutely. Yeah. So, anyway, but yeah, my heart goes out to everybody, and just, you know, let them know you're proud. You're very proud of them. And I'm glad that they pardoned him. Hell, he could be president someday. We don't know. We don't know, right? I don't know if he would want that job or not, to be honest with you. I don't know. I really don't know. Now, let's see. Hold on. Hold on, I just want to see something. Hold on, sorry. Okay. But anyway, sorry about that. I had to look at something. But anyway, just thank you, Jelly Roll, for all you do in public and out of the public and all the accomplishments you made. Just keep it up. Keep moving. Everybody wants to see the full story. Like I said, you can go over to the Tennessean. Okay. And I've been here for a while. We've covered a lot. I'll probably do another part kind of similar to this. I don't even know if I'll name it part 2, but I wanted to get around to what's been going on, you know, around the YouTube streets as well. And on some cases, and I might gather them together, you know, but just anything that's going on out there, just pray for all these people, all these families. Continue, you know, to pray for the missing. We have Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers still missing, Summer Moon Utah Wells, Michael Monkey Vaughn, you know, Tabitha Tutors, Emmanuel. They still haven't found Emmanuel, Jack and Lily. I mean, there are so many people, so many children out there, so many names. We got to touch again on David and Celeste. I mean, he had a burn barrel, burn box, burn cage. That's what they're saying, burn cage. Look, we ain't forgot all that. I can't name all the stuff that's going on out there, but I just want you to keep the missing children now in you know, in your hearts and in your prayers, and go ahead and put in all the emojis for them, praying hands, praying hearts. And as I said before, as I leave, there's one more thing that's out today. I want to say this. I forgot. Multiple arrests were made after 4 children were smuggled into the U.S. by the cartel members found in Tennessee. I want to say that, okay, because that's important. 4 children were reportedly brought across the southern border by cartel members, and they were taken into Arizona before being sent to Tennessee. Now, WSMV out of Nashville has that story. It's also coming from Smithville, Tennessee, okay? A months-long investigation into human smuggling and child labor trafficking at a Tennessee restaurant and some markets there has resulted in multiple arrests. They say 4 children was brought across the southern border by Mexican drug cartel. And so we need to keep those children in our prayers. You know, the children worked several different restaurants, several different markets to allegedly pay for the cost of being smuggled into the U.S. I mean, this is horrible, right? So we got to, you know, do that as well. We got to pray for them children and pray for them families. We also had one here in Florida. I do want to just say this a minute. Yay, Bay County. Woo, Bay County, Jackson County, all the surrounding counties. They had an operation going on, and they got 43 children today. 43. Some of those children I would like to make mention was from Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee. So you might want to be checking on that as well. But say your prayers. Keep the praying hands up. Keep the faith. Don't stop believing. Okay? And miracles do happen. And if you think you see a child, please don't bring it here. Call 911 first and call out to that child. Okay? I love y'all. Thank you, mods. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the streets. YouTube streets, that is. Y'all have a great night and sweet dreams.